Today, I'm going to be going over how you can create a cloud surfnet. So we've built Surfpool to level up the local developer experience by replacing the Solana test validator. In the same way, we've built these cloud surfnets to replace DevNet. These networks have the mainnet forking, token account faucets, cheat codes, and the transaction inspector that you're used to using with Surfpool, but now it's on a public-facing endpoint. This makes these cloud surfnets ideal for working with teams on a shared network. Also, when you're ready to take your protocol to an alpha or beta testing phase, these cloud networks make it really easy to spin up a network, fund your users with all the SOL and tokens they need, so they have an easy and safe place to start testing. So first, let's do a quick reminder on how to deploy a program to localnet using Surfpool. So whenever you first run Surfpool in a project directory, it's going to create a runbook that will look something like this. And this is describing what's going to happen on chain. And this runbook can be executed against different networks. By default, when you start Surfpool, if I run Surfpool start, we'll see these transactions being processed. That is Surfpool executing that runbook you have against your local network. When we're ready to go to cloud, first we need to create our cloud surfnet. So we can just do Surfpool Cloud Start. And it's going to prompt us with a few questions. So select the workspace, you can give it the network a name, and you can give it a description. You can set what the upstream mainnet data source will be, and you can configure how blocks are produced. Okay, now our surfnet is up and running. We have a new RPC URL, and we can go to this dashboard here. And we can see a list of all of our networks. And whenever we open up that network, we can see the faucet. We can stop and start the network clock and change the slot number. We can see our RPC URL, our WebSocket URL, and the data source, and we have the transaction inspector. Currently, we don't have any transactions, so let's send some. First, what we can do is we're going to add this network to the set of networks targeted by our runbooks. So we'll open up the txtx.yaml file. And we're going to add a new environment. So you'll see these environments here. We can just copy one. We can call it surfnet. And we can paste in that RPC URL we just had. Great. Now, if we look at all the files in our runbook, we'll see that we have these signers files. And there's an environment variable name for some of these files. If I just copy the one from localnet, and I call this instead surfnet, now whenever we are targeting the surfnet network, this file and its signers that we've defined are what will be used to sign the transactions in this runbook. Now to execute this runbook, all we have to do is say surfpool run the name of the runbook. If we open up that txtx.yaml, we'll see our runbook is called deployment. So run deployment --env surfnet-u. If we run this, it's going to send the transactions to this network instead of to localnet because we've passed in this environment flag. To speed things up even further, we have this feature. This is optional, but we have this instant surfnet deployment flag in your deploy program action. This, instead of sending the however many dozens or hundreds of transactions needed to deploy a program, we can just kind of hack the system and write directly to the program data account, and it makes deploying super fast. So we'll enable that. Now if we execute this runbook, so now our program is deployed. This didn't send any transactions, so now let's send a transaction and call our program. This is just executing a different runbook that I've already created that's going to invoke the program we just deployed. And that's done. And now we can see in our cloud networks transaction inspector, we have a transaction. We can see all of the details of this transaction just like you could on a local network. We can see token accounts created and updated. We can see our custom accounts indexed, all with a public-facing RPC URL so you can collaborate with your teams or use these networks for however you need.